Sleepless, Chapter 3, 12 Days Remaining. May 10th, 1:30 a.m. Ray awakens. He lays in his hospital bed. The room is dark. Lightning flickers in the window. There's a tapping at the window. Ray sits up. He looks out the window. There's another tap. He stands. He limps to the window looking out. He is on the 3rd floor. He looks down to the garden. A woman stands amongst the flowers. She is in a white gown. Her dress seems to emanate light. The girl waves a hand, calling to Ray. "Come down here, boy." She holds out her arms to her sides, inviting a hug. Ray is enticed. He turns to walk out the door of his room. No one takes notice of the child walking. His arms held to his sides loosely, he sways like a drunken man. Down the steps he walks to the front door and around the garden. The phantom waits. Her skin a fading blue, her hair black and flowing. "Take off your clothes," the ghost requests. Ray unties his robe and drops it to the ground, showing off his chest. The ghost holds out her arms invitingly. Ray walks into the arms of the phantom. She slides her arms around his back, pressing her head to his chest. Slowly she kneels in front of him. She opens her mouth, licking up his stomach. Ray tips his head back as he takes a hard breath. Chapter 3, May 10th, 5:15 a.m. Takeshi is asleep face down on the love seat in his sister's house when the phone rings. Takeshi picks up his cell phone weakly. He mumbles, barely aware of his surroundings. "Dr. Sue." "Takeshi!" An excited voice calls over the phone. "Murohanda, at toxicology. I just finished running the test on the sample that you sent me last night." Takeshi asks, "Did you mail me the data?" Honda explains, "This was a bizarre one. I thought it was some sort of a toxin at first, but I called up my friend Lai Chi at Watori to get a second set of eyes on the job. She had another idea. Transphotasma crasi." Takeshi asked for clarification. "Kissing disease?" Honda agrees. "That is what Lai Chi thinks. She did mention that there was something alien-looking about it, though. The sample was large, like it would have taken 1,000 or more bugs large. And there are trace amounts of Salvia, diavanamira, galantamine, Susacella lychilium, and gamiambiotic acid." Sue rolls off the couch, then jumps up to his feet. "That's a hell of a toxin. Dulled nerves, tactile hallucinations, paralytic." Honda cuts him off. "Yeah, assuming it doesn't kill you. It would be a hell of a trip. Any idea where this stuff came from?" Takeshi lowers his head as he struggles to think. "No." The other line starts to beep. "Can you hold on for just a moment, Honda?" Takeshi changes lines. "Dr. Sue." The voice on the other line is one of the overnight nurses. "Doctor, we need you in right away." Sleepless, Chapter 3, May 10th, 8:45 a.m. Joko Katana arrives at work late. He had been awakened by a call from the hospital. The unthinkable has happened, and now it is Joe's job to deliver the news to Oso. Joe unlocks the drunk tank, leading light into the room. Oso is asleep on a cot with his arms pulled across his face. "Hanzo!" Joe shouts. Oso groans as he sits up. "Joe." He looks side to side as if he can't remember where he is. "There has been an accident. Ray was declared dead at 4:55 a.m. Joe explains. Oso shoots him a gaze, awaiting more information. Joe lowers his head, rubbing his eyes tiredly. "Multiple simultaneous organ failure. There was nothing that could be done." Oso orders, "I want to see the body." Joe nods. "Of course you do." The body was released to the temple after autopsy for dressing. We can go at once. I would imagine that they will have everything prepared by noon. They've been getting a good deal of practice as of late. Os's head drops. He rests his hands on his legs as he silently weeps for a moment before whispering his discontent. What foul corruption has come to my home? I've outlived my wife and my son, Joe. Joe stands with his hands folded in front of his body. There's nothing he can say, so he waits. Sleepless, Chapter 3, May 10th, 6 p.m. The main hall of the temple is dressed. Oso has spent much of the day gathering photos of his son and bringing them to the temple to decorate it. Calls have been made. Everyone that Oso knows, it seems, has gathered to witness the ceremony. But once the viewing has officially started, Oso makes himself scarce. He hides in the baptismal room, not wanting to be seen. There is nothing he wants to say. There is nothing that can be said that would ease his suffering. Oso can't stop thinking, what had happened? What could have been done? If he hadn't been drinking 2 nights ago, could he have protected his family from this? Oso is not sad. He's angry. Someone has to pay. Someone needs to be set to blame. Maybe there is someone that Oso wants to talk to. Rico Jet. Hanzo has a sword, a 7-body sword he had inherited from his grandmother. A blade said to be so sharp it could cut the flesh of a god. But the edge has not been cleaned in a decade. Rico will clean Oso's family sword for him. Then Oso will administer justice, the way that samurai dole out justice. He is a warrior, and warriors have ways of fighting evil. They run it through with a blade. As the sun starts to fall low in the sky, a parade lines up to carry Ray to the riverbed. Nakuba is the last hand to touch the raft as it's lowered into the water. There is a cold silence as the raft rolls. A bad omen comes to pass. As the raft Ray is tied to slides under the bridge, it is caught on a rock. When he emerges on the other side, the raft has rolled over. Ray is now on the underside of the raft, and an empty-looking one makes the last leg of the journey to the mouth of the river. In Shinsamaru, many people are subject to superstition. An empty raft floating downstream is a warning. Disaster is coming. The spirits want everyone to witness this, to keep their eyes open, their wits about them. A gasp of surprise fills the air at this grim sight. Eve Mosmo slides in alongside Nakuba, as whispers start in like thunder shattering their reverence. Mosmo looks up at the chaplain. Why is everyone so... Nakuba finishes Mosmo's thought. Distressed? Mosmo nods. The kami have sent us a message. The dead are meant to be looking up at all times after dressed. If they're facing in another direction, the dead may be led astray by Haru or Baku or any other number of mischievous spirits. Or worse yet, they could summon an Onryo to lay a curse on the land. Mosmo watches the young monk with wide eyes. But you don't believe that. Nakuba shakes his head. I don't. Hanzo does. So does Riko, Machihiro, Godro, most of the town's elders. I wonder what effect it has on the universe when so many people start to worry all at once. Fear can't be made flesh, can it? Sleepless, Chapter 3, May 10th, 8 p.m. The festivities are over. The crowd has thinned. Oso stands alone on the bridge. Storm clouds grow thick. A wall of water can be viewed in the ocean, sneaking slowly onto the shore. As the rain sets foot on the land and cascades of fog push across the town, shadows stretch and blur vision. How can it be that the day is so hot and the night so cold so often? It is as if heaven itself has grown angry. The monk Tomi rests his hand on the banisters of the bridge, leaning over it alongside Oso. It is 10 days until the Festival of Drums. Last year, you and Ray took the stage with my brother and I. You're not a monk, but you know the part. You're welcome to dance with us. Oso shrugs, then nods, then shakes his head. Oso can't find the energy to talk. Instead, he reaches over and sets a hand on Tomi's back. Oso then falls over and cries. Tomi grabs Oso, helping him to his feet. The monk can think of little to do, but lead Oso back to the temple to rest. Sleepless, Chapter 3, May 10th, 10:15 p.m. Lita and Odette walk home side by side. They had stopped to buy some mochi on the way. Lita had a relationship with Ray dating back years. At one point in time, she was talking about the possibility of marriage in some distant future. But Ray wasn't ready to talk about such things. Ray was more interested in sneaking around the school and kissing in hidden corners. Ice cream is a bandage for an open wound, friendship an anesthetic. But it will take time for the healing to begin. Odette walks Lita home and into the arms of her brother. Dr. Tinsma is just getting home from work, as Odette is walking away from the house. The two lock eyes. There is nothing to be said. From there, Odette walks the rest of the way home alone. She stops for a moment at the park halfway between their homes. There are 3 statues of tanuki, each holding a basket. Odette kneels down, tucking her skirt between her thighs, as she places a yen in each of the baskets. The tanuki are part of some old faith, some forgotten ritual. Throughout the town, there are many statues and tiny structures that act as spirit huts, places that people leave gifts for the dead, so that they may stay pleased. After that, it is a short walk the rest of the way. There is no meeting with friends, no ghost stories today. Takeshi pulls up on his bike alongside Odette. He has a stack of books in the basket on the back of his bike. Odette looks to her uncle. Digging up some light reading? Takeshi nods. I have a sudden urge to pick up entomology. Odette helps Takeshi carry the books inside. Why? I have a friend in Wales that recommended it. Chapter 3, May 10th, 11:25 p.m. Lita goes to bathe. She soaks herself in hot water. Letting the sounds of silence quiet her mind. Steam fills the room. A whisper calls out to her from the fog, hissing her name. She closes her eyes and lowers her body. She picks up her knees so she can lower her chest under the surface. The voice whispers again. Lita fails to take notice. She pulls an arm across her face, hiding from the pain she is feeling. Rigi taps on the door, shouting out the time. Lita gets up. As she towels off, the shadows in the bathroom dance. The reflection in the mirror seems unstable, showing Lita 2 echoes of herself. Strange thing a tortured mind can be. Lita walks back to the room, 2 towels tied around her body. Lita is just reaching the age where she finds skin something worth showing off. The body something to be admired. Posters hang off her walls of actors and performers. Images to remind herself of what she wants to be. Her room has a parapet that leads to the roof. As she turns on the lights to her room, a fantasy manifests. Ray sits on the windowsill, looking into the room. One hand holds the banister overhead. The other sits on the rim of the window. One foot in the place, the other outside. He is dressed in his funeral robe, but he seems so much alive. Lita sits on her bed and lets the towels fall off. Ray jokes, "Undressing for me? I didn't think you wanted to do that so quickly." Lita lays down. "Don't tease me." Ray jumps into the room. He climbs up on the bed and crawls forward over Lita, provocatively. "I'll tease you however much you like." Lita can feel the room growing cold. She looks up to Ray. Lita may be daydreaming, but something about this dream feels wrong. The hand of Ray grips Lita by the arm, holding her still. 2 extra hands find her chest. Lita lowers her head, looking down, as Ray licks up her chest. Where Ray had been now lays atop her a white-haired monster with 6 arms, 3-fingered hands, and giant eyes. It opens its mouth, showing off a spearing tongue. Lita takes a shocked breath and screams.